Hi, this is Taylor Nissi, founder of Pleasant Street Wealth Advisors. Thank you for joining me for this month's One Thing. And if you're new to the One Thing community, what this video series is about is it's a time where we introduce one concept, one idea, one thing that business owners, founders, and entrepreneurs can implement into their personal or business financial life to improve their strategy and keep their money moves aligned with their vision for life. So with that, let's talk about the March One Thing. By March, a lot of business owners are in this awkward middle ground. The year is underway, clients are busy, your team is busy, and meanwhile, tax deadlines are suddenly right around the corner. So this month's One Thing is a simple 30-minute business money check-in before the tax crunch hits. One focused session where you step out of the whirlwind of the business and you look at what the business numbers are actually telling you. And this allows you to walk away with a couple decisions that set you up for the rest of the year. We're going to look at three things: your upcoming tax deadlines, your current financial health, and one concrete action that you're going to take coming out of that review. So let's start with taxes, because for a lot of you, this is the thing sitting in the back of your mind right now. For calendar year businesses, March is when partnerships and S-Corp returns are due, or at least the K-1s and extensions need to be handled. And for many of you, your business flows right into your personal return. So that April deadline is closer than it feels. In your 30-minute check-in, ask yourself three questions. Are my 2025 returns on track to be filed or extended on time? Do I know whether or not I'm going to have a tax bill? And do I know even roughly, if I do expect a tax bill, where that money's coming from? Cash on hand, specific account, or am I counting on incoming receivables to pay that bill? And if the answer to any of those is I'm not sure, then that's the signal that you absolutely need to do this review. And it isn't about playing CPA. It's about knowing whether your cash and your tax reality are actually aligned before the tax crunch hits. And speaking of tax tactics, solo 401ks, HSAs, business profit sharing contributions, self-employed deductions, and whether or not to file an extension are all critical strategies that are still on the table for all business owners in tax year 2025. So in this month's email, I go deeper onto those specific moves, explaining deadlines, the math behind the savings opportunity, and some of the other details so that you can figure out if there's a strategy there for you. So check out that email for these key points on the tactical tax planning moves. Now, let's talk about the check-in itself, because it really doesn't need to be complicated. What you're going to do is you're going to pull three reports for the year to date: your P&L, profit and loss, your balance sheet, and your cash position. On the P&L, look at the revenue versus the same period last year. So January, February 25 versus January, February 26. Are we up, are we down, or are we flat? Then you're going to look at your biggest expense categories. Is there anything obviously out of line in 2026 than what you expected? And how do your margins generally look compared to last year during that same period? On the balance sheet, we're looking at cash, receivables, and any debt or lines of credit. Are clients taking longer to pay? Are you leaning on debt more than you'd like just to smooth out cash flow? And on the cash side, what's actually sitting in your operating account? And are there other accounts that you've forgotten about? And once you figure out how much cash you have altogether, ask yourself, based on my January and February expenses so far to date, how many months of actual expenses can I cover based on my cash in the operating account? Now, you're not trying to become your own CFO in 30 minutes. You're just listening to what the numbers are already telling you. Is revenue moving in the right direction? Are expenses creeping? And is cash getting tighter or healthier? Now, the most important part. What are you going to do with what you see? Your one thing for March is to come out of that check-in with a single, clear move, just one. And here are a few examples. If your balance sheet's telling you that cash flow is tighter than you want it, your one thing is to aggressively follow up with your top 5 overdue invoices and get those paid in the month of March. Another idea is if it might be setting a rule aligned with goals you set for yourself in January, such as automatically moving a percentage of each dollar into a specific account like tax or profit, instead of letting it build up in the operating cash account. My personal favorite, and something I try to put into practice quarterly, is a concept worth knowing from Alan Miltz. A 1% reduction in your expenses is the same impact to your bottom line as a much larger increase in revenue. So find one subscription, one tool, or one recurring cost that isn't pulling its weight and cut or reduce it. Small number, huge impact. And if taxes are the big thing on your mind right now, your one action could be to move cash for your estimated tax bill into a dedicated account, not let it sit in the operating account so that it doesn't accidentally get spent before the tax bill is due. And the key is you don't end this check-in with 10 ideas. You end it with one committed decision that you'll actually execute. Now, to make this work, treat this 30 minutes like any other important meeting. Put it on your calendar, bring your 3 reports, your tax deadlines, put your phone down, close your tabs, and give it your full attention. If you have a bookkeeper, a CFO, or a key partner, bring them in. Share what you're seeing and get alignment on your one move for the month. And if personal strategy, and if you want to go a level deeper than this check-in to see whether your personal wealth strategy and tax plan are actually keeping pace with what you're building in the business, take my strategic wealth scorecard. It's a 3-minute assessment. You'll see where you're strong, where you might be exposed, and what to prioritize next. There's a link in the email. That's your March one thing. 30 minutes, look at the numbers, pick one move, and make sure your wealth strategy is keeping up with your business. We'll see you in April.